I just thought I'd get on here tonight for a little bit. I was going to share a little bit of my family's military service. It's pretty interesting, actually, and I wasn't aware of it until after I joined the Marine Corps. Let me look up. Let me look something up real fast. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Tex vote. Oh, how do you vote, Tex? I didn't know anything about that. All right, cool. Hey, can you see my surveillance cameras I set up last night? You kind of see them in the background. We got a thief running around, uh, ripping people off and getting into their cars and stuff all over within like a 10-mile radius. And we know where he just lives right across the road from me. And he's got into my car once, and we keep it locked. And I put some surveillance cameras up last night. All right, I think it's just you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Um, I let my dog outside that way. She's the first line of protection in the video cameras. Well, I joined the Marine Corps when I was 19 years old, and I think that was back in 2002. And ever since I was a little boy, as far as back as I can remember, 4, 5, 6 years old, I always wanted to be in the military. Like it was just instilled in me. I always wanted to be in the military. And I didn't know why. I just maybe that's every little boy's dream, but I just had this deep urge that I needed to join the military. And so I graduated high school. Then I went to college for like a semester and a half, and I was like, this isn't for me right now. I'm joining the military. I knew that was my calling at that time. And so I joined the Marine Corps, went to boot camp, and I knew my dad was in the Air Force for a little bit, but that's the extent that I knew about my military family's history and service. And so I got out of boot camp, and my grandmother came pick me up in San Diego, and she lives in Fresno. And we drove back up to Fresno, and as a little kid, I went back and forth um, to her house maybe once every 4 years. I lived in Oklahoma, and my dad passed away when I was like 12 or 13 years old, so I didn't get to go out there very much. So I never really paid attention. But anyways, she picked me up, and we went up to her house, and I was just looking at the pictures on her wall in her hallway, and I see all these military men on there, and I was like, that's my uncle, that's my other uncle. There's my dad. There's my grandpa. I had no idea all my family were in the military at one time. All the men on my dad's side. My dad was in the Air Force, and I think both my uncles were in the Army. And their dad, which would have been my grandpa, I never met him. He died when he was, I think, when my dad was like 16. So he died young, but he served 20 years in the, I think, it was the Army also. Well, my grandmother ended up remarrying when she was like 50, and I was a little kid. So, and it's funny because the man that she married, which is my grandpa, he was in the Navy for so long. I was like, holy cow! Every person over here is in the military. It all started making sense to me, like why it was just in me. I needed to join. Well, then that was on my dad's side of the family, and then on my mom's side, I knew my two uncles. They'd never joined, but I was talking to my grandpa, and he was in the Army for 4 or 5 years. back during the Korean War. That's my kid's toy. Back during the Korean War, and so I talked to him a little about that. Well, then he's talking to me. He's got two older brothers that are like quite a bit older than him. He's in his 80s right now, and his brothers like in their late 90s. They're still alive, but they were well, one of them's still alive. Uh, they were both. I guess I don't know if they were in the Army or one was in the Air Force. I think one was in the Air Force, one was in the Army. But I come to find out one of my great uncles got shot down in World War II. I think over the Pacific, and he was never recovered. So my grandpa and his two brothers were both in the military. My dad, his two brothers, both my grandpas, I guess three grandpas, and I was like, man, it's just amazing. Well, I was talking to my great aunt, my grandma's sister, here last year, and we were just talking about military stuff, and she said, you know, we had and on her mom's side, yeah, what's up, Derek? Pastor Derek's in the house. Uh, but my grandma, her sister, after I didn't know this when my grandma was still alive. She never talked about it. But her sister, my great aunt, was telling me about it. That we had a general back in the Civil War, or actually not the Civil War, but the Revolutionary War, and he fought in 1776, 1775, and he was a general of a militia. And I was like, man, this is freaking awesome. This is just getting better and better. So she tells me that his name is Nicholas Herkimer. And I'll turn this around and see if you can see it. I got it up I Googled him. And there he is. And I'll read you the story behind him, which I thought that was pretty interesting. Let's see. And the story behind him, Nicholas Herkimer, I guess that's how you say his name, was American Patriot Militia Brigadier General during the American Revolutionary War. He died of his wounds after the Battle of Oriskany. I don't know, Oriskany. And it says the American Revolution in July of August 1775. Herkimer headed the Tyrone County Committee of Safety and became colonel of the district militia. After the split in which loyalist militia members from the area withdrew to Canada, he became a brigadier general in the militia by the Congress of September 5th, 1776 and June 1776. He led 380 men of the Tryon County Militia to confront Joseph Brant in Unadilla, New York. Herkimer requested that I can't pronounce some of this stuff. I think those are some Indians, remained neutral while Brant said that Indians owed their loyalty to the king. When Herkimer learned of the siege of Fort Stanwix to the west in late July 1777, he ordered the Tyrone County Militia to assemble at Fort Dighton. He then marched them out to Fort Knox, about 28 miles west of the force, marching in a column. His force marching in a column was ambushed on August 6th by the mixed force of British regulars, Tory militia, and Mohawk Indians in the Battle of Oriskany. Herkimer's horse was shot, and he was seriously wounded in this. And in spite of his injuries, he had himself propped up against a tree, lit his pipe, and directed his men in the battle. Boy, he reminds me a lot of myself right there. That's where I get it. Rallying them to avoid the two panic retreats. When they withdrew, they carried him home. The surgeon, William Petrie, dressed Herkimer's wound in the field and placed him on a litter. The wound quickly became infected, but the decision to amputate the leg was delayed for about 10 days after the battle. The operation was performed by the surgeon Robert Johnson because William was wounded in battle and was not available. The other surgeon was wounded in a battle. He couldn't do it. The operation went poorly. The wound bled profusely, and Herkimer died of the injury on August 6th around the age of 49. So that's just a pretty cool story that I had no idea that was part of my family history, and I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys tonight. I thought that was pretty cool. Hey, what's up, Simply? Let's get back to the screen. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys just in light of Veterans Day coming up next week. Um, just I just thought you guys might like to hear that because I actually have a family member that fought in the Revolutionary War, which I never knew of until like last year, and it was just amazing to me that he led a militia. It's kind of funny too because here about a year or two ago, my friends were, "Hey, let's start a militia." I'm like, man, y'all crazy. So why don't you all join the Marine Corps? Yeah, they weren't in the military. But I was gonna show you guys my AR-15 also. I built this. Let's see if you can see it. I built this myself, piece by piece. That's pretty cool. I don't know if any of you guys shoot AR-15 or have one, but it's got a EOTech scope on it. The batteries are probably dead on it now. I haven't shot it in a while. Yeah, but I just want to show you guys that. And let's see. Yeah, but just to recap, just want to tell all you veterans, happy Veterans Day, and just I'm so thankful for all our veterans and the sacrifices that they make, and just appreciate every one of you guys. Hey, thanks. I've had this for probably for about 6 or 7 years. I got another one put up. Text says my grandpa on my dad's side was in World War I. My grandpa on my mom's side was in World War II against the Japs. Isn't that crazy? Simply, we have a custom built AR that has Josh's artwork laser etched on the side. That's awesome. Let me see if you can see this. My brother-in-law. See, my brother-in-law bought me this cover. You see the Marine Corps and the Semper Fi. This is a Daniel defense lower, and then like a Stag Arms upper with the EOTech sight, and then all the Magpul stuff. It's pretty sweet. I need to shoot it. I haven't shot it in a while. I need to clean it up. So, by the way, a little something coming in the mail for you soon, Dutch, and it's not hot sauce. Thanks, Simply. My mother-in-law mailed that off for me because I had to go to work. I forgot to tell her not to put my return address on there. Dang it. You guys have a friend in Montana that builds and does etching. That's awesome. My buddy in California, he actually built them for all his friends. They're actually quite a bit cheaper now. I think this cost me around, after everything, I think it was around $1,300 or $1,400 to build it all, but it's all pretty good quality stuff. I got another one that is only like $600 to build. So the sky's the limit on building AR-15s. You can do a lot of stuff with them. But yeah, I probably ain't gonna stay on here very long, guys. I just wanted to share a little bit of my family history in the military and my desire as a little boy to do it. It all makes sense now. It's almost like it's just in you when you learn your whole family was in the military at one point in time, or most of them. But then it shows a different era too that we live in now. Uh, I'm the only one out of my brothers and sisters and out of all my cousins that joined the military on both sides of my family. So back then, it was just you joined the military back then, back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 1775. I mean, that's what you did. You were a patriot, and you did your duty. nowadays, I don't know what it is with this generation, the generation I grew up in, but there's not that. I'm not saying they're not patriots, but I don't think it's as strong of. They're not a strong desire there. You might say. I don't know. I don't know why that is. I guess just the world's changing. Pork Chop is dad said on joining the military once he graduates. That's awesome. You know, I'll be honest with you. I would let my daughters join the military if they wanted to. My preacher's texting me. He said I had a big booger hanging out my nose. That's funny. Can I get it out? But he knows what branch he wants to go into. Yeah, does he? Is he going? What branch is he going to? Simply, does he know yet? Josh's cause. Hell, he did artwork for trade. That's awesome. Texas. Well, I appreciate your service to our country, and why didn't you go make it a career? Well, to be honest with you, I had every intentions of making a career out of it. But once you get in there, I hurt my back, and I joined as '03 infantry, which is like open contract. You go not open contract, but it's open infantry. They'll just put you in the infantry if it's a mortars, a rifleman, just whatever. Well, I hurt my back during one of our hikes and boot camp, like towards the end of it. Like I think we had like a week or two left, and I hurt my ankle real bad. It was like black and blue, and they told us, "Hey, if you guys got any medical issues with you, go down to the I think they called BAS back then, the doctor, and get meds for it." So I went down there to get mainly for my ankle because it was I could barely walk on it. I just want to get some ibuprofen or something. Well, then they asked me if there's anything else wrong. I said, "Well, my back's pretty sore too, or whatever. It's hurting." And they had some doctors come in there or whatnot. And long story short, they made me they were either going to discharge me from boot camp, saying that they said there's no way I could go infantry with my back being injured, which that's pretty common. If they find out you have like a back injury or something, they try to get rid of you because they don't want to be responsible for it later on down the road. Or they said you can go, oh, you can change your MOS. And I said change my MOS. I had like 2 weeks of boot camp left. Are you crazy? The hardest it was already over with. So they changed my MOS to just open contract. I had no idea what job I was going to do. And ended up the job I got. I met some really great guys, and but it wasn't the MOS that I wanted to be in. So it kind of gave me a sour taste for the Marine Corps on that aspect because ever since I was real little, I wanted to be infantry. No, I just wanted to be infantry. But I think it all worked out awesome. I got a great family and friends, and I think I think everything's meant for a reason. Because after I changed my MOS, we got out of boot camp, went to our school and stuff. Then we went overseas. Well, the two friends I went to boot camp with, they're from my home school. We're best friends growing up. I talked them into going infantry with me. When I got my job changed, and they were so mad, and I was mad. But one ended up getting shot, and one ended up getting blown up by IED. They both survived, got Purple Hearts or whatnot. But I think God works in ways that we can't comprehend because I would have been right there with them guys, and who knows, I might not have made it. I don't know. But that's a little bit of history on my family and a little bit of background on me and the Marine Corps. And I just wanted to share that with you guys a little bit and whoever's watching this. His cousin in the Army does helicopter mechanics, and he would love to follow his footsteps. Yeah, that'd be awesome because if he didn't stay, he could always go work with helicopters or flying or whatever he wants to do. But well, I'm gonna get off here, guys. I'm gonna try to set up one more camera before I go to bed on my security system. And just happy Veterans Day, guys. If you guys anyone watching this and you're a veteran, I just appreciate every one of you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, guys. Let's end it with the cadence.